I'm watching Temptation Island for the first time, and absolutely no time is being wasted. These ladies are ready to slide on the DMs. No M. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, it's Nate. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Temptation Island Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3. So if you haven't seen them yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on Episodes 1 through 3, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like and a hype before you go. So I did not realize that this show was so savage, and I wish y'all would have gave me a warning. I completely went in blind on this. I did not watch Season 1 to kind of get the idea. I just wanted to jump into Season 2 and see what it's about. And the whole idea behind the show, the concept itself, is a wild idea, but having the couples meet the singles together is an even wilder concept. And I don't know who came up with that, but that is insane. You telling me I gotta sit there and watch these girls flock to my man, and I just gotta be like, yeah girl, that's what you here for? That's insane. Especially when the ladies took off their cover-ups, even I yelled damn. And I ain't even got nothing to do with the situation. I was like, they all look fantastic. I mean, that's kind of the deal, right? Pretty much anyone who goes on these island shows are gonna be really attractive, bodies are gonna be really nice, so it really is nothing special, but they look damn good. So I know these men were fighting for their lives. I also love that I saw so many black women, although I don't know, I'm a little iffy on it. We all know how black women tend to be treated on reality TV shows. I'm not one to beat a dead horse. It happens across reality TVs. It doesn't matter if it's a Netflix produced, if it's Peacock produced, if it's... Well, Zeus takes it to a whole other level. I don't even talk about Zeus, so never mind. While I love seeing so many black women on the show, I hate that they are being presented to us as homewreckers, essentially. Like, they are the women who are solely there to steal your man. And I get that that's the point of the show and everybody signed up for it. But I don't know, y'all tell me. Has anyone who's ever been on this show as a single and attempted to steal someone's man and actually successfully stole someone's man actually stayed in a relationship with them post-show? Or was it all for the show? You know what I mean? Were they just being used, essentially, as like a convenient side piece? Because that's my concern. Black women already struggle with being seen as less than, and then this show kind of puts them in a position of being a side piece with a little glitter on top of it, as if they're only good for the short term. So the optics are a little weird for me personally, but let me know what y'all think about that. First, we're going to talk about Shyanne and Jack. Shyanne is 23, Jack is 25. I said in my couples reveal video that I think 23 is too young to be in a committed relationship. And Jack actually says something that I think perfectly explains why I say that.
Oh, she shits on me for not having money. But to be honest, like, money doesn't really matter to me. And I feel like where she's at in her life, she's looking for a little bit something different than she was when we were 19.
Of course, she's starting to realize that you need money to survive in the world, because 23 is around the age that it starts to kick in that, oh, you actually need money to survive. And not only do you need money to survive, you need money to have any kind of fun. Yeah, that's right around the time when it starts kicking in that, oh, I'm actually gonna have to make some money in this life. So for me, at 25, Jack should have already come to that realization, and him being surprised that Shyanne is now coming to that realization is crazy, because it's like, that hasn't clicked for him yet, and I don't know why. She's not gonna be the same person that you were when you're 19, because she's not 19. And that's why I think that thinking that you could be with the same person you were with when you were 19 is crazy. Do you know how much growth takes place? We can go as far back as possible. You know how much growth takes place from 16 to 18, from 18 to 20, from 20 to 23, 23 to 25? These are the years that are forming you. This is when you're going to learn about money. You're going to learn who your friends should be and who your friends shouldn't be. You're going to learn some life skills, some real life skills at around these ages. So why would you be the same person at 23 that you were at 19? That concept doesn't make sense to me, and to me that means you're not being successful at adulting. Just basically is what I'm trying to say. Because had you adulted properly, you would have already been completely different by now. Does being with the same person from when you were a teenager into your adult years work sometimes? Yeah, but I also think the people who say that it works have a type of survivor's bias, because it worked for them, but the majority of the time it's not gonna work. Relationships have to have a foundation, and it's really hard to build a solid foundation in your teenager, early 20 years with someone else when you don't even have a solid foundation of who you are as a person. How are you gonna build a foundation with somebody else? And so that's why it's really hard. It's not about like looking down on young relationships or looking down on young marriages. It's like, no, you're literally not. Like, you're gonna grow so much as a person, you have no idea. You're gonna have so many experiences that are gonna change your views on the world and this and that, and I really can't explain. Like, if you know, you know. It's one of those things, like, you're only gonna learn by doing. And so the main issue for this couple is that he still thinks he's 19, and he's treating this relationship and his life as such. And that's totally fine. No shame to him. If he wants to live that kind of, live hard, die young, live fast, die young. Y'all, whatever the saying is. If he wants to live that life, that's totally fine. He has a right and a prerogative to live his life whatever way he wants to. But if Shyanne is realizing that she don't want that life, she need her a man with a corporate 9-to-5, a 401k, then y'all just not for each other anymore, and that's fine. He can go find someone who's on the same time as him. They exist. There are plenty of women who are 25 who aren't ready to slow down living life yet. Matter of fact, he met one of them on the show. Well, Carter is 22, so she a little bit younger. So he might run into the same issue. I think he needs to find someone who's his same age on his same page. Because going younger, even if it's only 3 years, you're still going to have the same thing where it's like her mind hasn't gotten there yet because she's 22. It shouldn't have. Shyanne is ready to start making some adult money, or at least working towards it. I just think she doesn't know how to let this relationship go, or even more than that, she's just comfortable in it. They've been together for 5 years. They were together in their teen years, and so it feels really, really strong when you're in that age. I imagine, because, I didn't experience it, but it feels really strong when you're that age because everything is sunshine and rainbows when you're 18. Like, you have no problems for the majority of people. So I think she's just afraid to let that go because it's so familiar. And I'm also very glad that she said this.
I'm so codependent on him that I don't even feel myself anymore.
Because just as she said it, I kid you not, just as she said it, I was typing it in my notes. I was like, she's codependent. And then she said, I'm codependent. And I said, at least you're aware. At least you're a self-aware girly. Being codependent in general is terrible. Being this codependent, this young, when you have the pick of the litter, you're a gorgeous girl. You could have anybody. You could have a man with a 401k. And you would rather be with someone who you feel you can't live without. You feel like you not yourself when you're not around them. With his haircut like Chicken Little and he's 25. I mean, no shade, but that's the haircut that he has. Shyanne, I need you to wake up and look in the mirror and realize who the fuck you are. Because this man is out of his league severely. And I don't really usually talk about people's looks because I would never want anyone to talk about my looks, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to discuss what I see on the show and make my observations based on that. But Jack looks like he does obnoxious YouTube pranks that aren't really pranks and that people just get annoyed by. Like, that's what he looks like. He looks like he's like, of that variety of people, like obnoxious streamers. That's what he looks like. And then he has this conversation.
I want to be in the club scene, like, for real. Like,
really?
Yeah,
what do you want to do?
I mean, I want to be a club promoter.
Or?
Like, I'm a nightlife dude. Like, as much as like it's like, oh, I get tired of it. Like, I don't want to grow up.
And I'm like, yeah, you look like the type of person who wants that. You look like you have the mindset of a 12-year-old with that childish haircut. I can tell that you don't want to grow up. You got Peter Pan syndrome. And Braden agrees with me.
Looking at her boyfriend and pretty much comparing him to me, I did not look like anything like him. He looked kind of like a little boy to me.
And it's not really even about him having a baby face. It's his whole aura that screams immature. And he's not even denying it. At 25, you should just be a little bit further along, I feel like. I don't know, like, tell me, maybe I'm wrong on that. I just feel like your mindset should have switched, for sure, by that age, I think. And then he said their relationship was perfect, but he cheated on her anyway. I also don't think that he's fully taken responsibility for it yet.
I got drunk and ended up cheating on her.
And it's like, okay, Jack, clearly you're trying to blame it on the alcohol. If only there were an alcohol alternative that still tastes great. Oh wait, there is. Hayo. Today we have a special announcement, okay? First of its kind. This company named Hayo sent me some of their drinks to try. Essentially, these are like seltzers without the alcohol. And the idea is to drink it in social settings and kind of feel a lift, which they call the float, but not feel wasted. And I'm down for that. It's GMO certified, it's gluten-free, it's vegan, it's all of those things. And more importantly to me, because I'm back in the gym, it's only 30 calories. So I'm gonna be trying it. Oh, you're supposed to do a little. That's really light. If you don't like something that's like a heavy flavor, you would probably like this. I like it. And then he's like, well, I just ended up cheating. And I hate when people say stuff like this. This is like when people say, I ended up getting pregnant. You don't just end up pregnant. You got to take a lot of different steps to get to that point. So you don't just end up with a hickey on your neck and a girl responding to a DM like this.
I texted her and I said, your lips, and I put hard eyes because I was like, she's either going to be like, what are you talking about? Or she's going to, she's going to basically admit it. And she responded and she said, which ones?
You don't just end up there. You got to take many different twists and turns to get to that point. And this is why it's no surprise to me that Jack is really the first one to get himself in trouble. Because he says something completely off the wall.
Your probably tastes like Candy Carter.
Yeah, I do.
Why the hell would you say that? Just on the level of knowing that your girlfriend might see that, why would you let those words leave your mouth? Make it make sense. You barely know Carter, and you running around here wondering how she tastes out loud? Some thoughts are inside thoughts, my boy. Leave that one in the noggin. But I knew that Jack wasn't gonna make it when Carter did her intro.
I just graduated college, but my final exam is oral.
He was cooked from the start. Boy didn't stand a chance. He starts to hit it off with Carter quite early, actually. Now, in her confessional, Carter says,
I'm not here to break apart healthy relationships. I'm here to expose the weak ones.
and I wonder what she really meant by that, because to me it could mean two things. It could mean I'm genuinely coming here to see if I can make a connection with someone and leave her together and have a serious relationship, and then it's really not my fault because the relationship was rocky anyway. Or she could mean I'm gonna find the weakest man in here and I'm gonna exploit him, and I'm doing it for the love of the game with no intentions on leaving here with anybody, because I could see that going either way. And to be honest, both options are fair game in my opinion, and I'm actually kind of hoping that it's the latter and she's just playing with him, because she's telling him that the nicest date she's ever been on is a picnic, and he's thinking to himself, shit, you ain't even gonna get that out of me. Cheyenne already told us that he's not even the romantic type. He doesn't even take her on dates, not even for their anniversary, nor can he afford to.
The only time we ever go on like a real like planned date by him is if it's my birthday.
Okay, so it's gotta be a special occasion.
Yeah, like even for like our anniversaries, like we don't do anything.
That's just really sad. Just pamper you a little bit.
Yeah,
You need to
that
be
sounds-
pampered.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
Now, Carter does say something that I think is gonna get her a little heat.
Jack's girlfriend treats him like a piece of shit, talks about him poorly. Jack needs someone in his life to boost him up, to make him feel seen, make him feel heard, and I'm that person for Jack.
And she may have meant it in a shady way. However, I do think that there's some truth to it. Someone could be an absolutely terrible partner with you, but they could go on to the next, and this is man or woman, they could go on to the next person and be everything that person ever dreamed of. Not because they were bad, but because you guys were bad together. For me, it honestly comes down to what Sydney said.
You're not asking for too much, you're just asking the wrong person.
Cheyenne is 23 and has completely lost herself to this man who can't even buy her a bouquet of flowers. And apparently the sex isn't even good, because she said she's stuck with him.
I've only hooked up with Jack in the past 5 years we've been together, so
Gotcha.
just been stuck with the same penis.
And I can guarantee you, no woman to ever have existed or whoever will exist has said that, and it was good. And it's probably bad because Jack's still, acting like he 19. And we're gonna see what happens on episode 4, because I kind of left episode 3 with Carter and Jack kissing or making kissing noises in the dark in the confessional. Who knows? You know how they splice and dice things when they edit, but I think it was them. Moving on to Kylie and Summit, 24 and 25 respectively. In my couples reveal video, I said that I got the vibe that Summit is the one who wanted to come on this show, and that Kaylee was just going along with it to placate him because she loves him. Because he kept saying he's looking for a thrill, he loves a good thrill, and what is he gonna get on Temptation Island? He's gonna get a thrill. And I could tell by her face when they first stepped foot on the island that she was already second guessing this. And I'm gonna be real, I think that Kaylee needs to stand the hell up.
I have commitment issues. I always have. Too much of a wimp to, break up with Kaylee, and so I just became a shitty boyfriend. I stopped planning dates.
And even when we had plans, he kind of would just ignore them.
If someone is sitting next to me and they're saying, I was too weak to actually break up with you, so I just started treating you like shit. Even though I knew I didn't want to be with you, but I didn't want to leave you either, so I just started treating you like shit. Don't let somebody sit next to you and say that, and you gonna stay with them? And even more so, you gonna let somebody sit next to you in front of a group of people and say that? And on top of that, it's not just the people that we see, it's the camera crew, and you know that this has been recorded, and you know that this is gonna end up on Netflix, and you gonna sit there and continue with this man after he said he purposely treated you like shit? Stand up, sis, stand up. I know he has beat your self-esteem down, and we gonna get to it in a minute, but you gotta get some wits about yourself. No man is worth all of this, and I often talk about this when it comes to black women, because I think black culture tends to put a prize or hand out prizes for struggle love, but there are no prizes for struggle love. Never let anybody make you feel like it's an accomplishment to suffer with them, especially if they're the one who is causing you to suffer. You don't get anything for that. There are no trophies for sticking by someone and struggling through it. You know what you get? You get to look dumb, and you get to be a doormat. And the unfortunate truth is that 98% of the time, I'm just pulling that out of thin air, 98% of the time, that person is always going to view you as a doormat. And again, this is man or woman. Whoever's acting as the doormat is going to be very hard for that person who you're in a relationship to not view you that way, because they know that they can walk all over you. Sure, they might sweep you every once in a while. They might spray you down with the water hose and try to make you look new again. But at the end of the day, you're just going to be a clean doormat instead of a dirty doormat. He said he never wanted to settle down, and she should have proceeded with that in mind.
That's really why I'm here, is just to prove to myself I am okay to settle down and have a lifelong partner, because that's what I want.
To me, this is like men who go on Love is Blind and say, I'm just here to see if, I still got that dog in me. I'm here to see if I'm not a player anymore. And it's like, of all the shows you could have chosen to go on, you choose to go on a show where the goal is to leave married to prove that you're not a player. You couldn't have thought of any other way to do that. You could have done that outside the show. You couldn't have done it on a different show. No other way. You have to come to Love is Blind to prove that you're not a player. In this case, to me, it's like you're coming on a show where you know there's going to be hot single women throwing themselves at you because presumably you have watched a season before, and you're using that to prove that you're loyal in your relationship. You don't have to come on a show to prove that. Why don't you just be loyal in life and in your relationship? Sans the show. You don't have to come on a TV show to prove that. And at the end of the day, for me, it doesn't prove anything. What if you come on the show and no one there is your type? And so to you, you leave saying, look, I didn't mess around with anybody. But in reality, it's just because no one who was your type or no one who you clicked with was there. And then when y'all leave the show thinking that you're on good terms, you get back home and you immediately see someone who is your type and you cheat again. This show isn't going to prove anything. And to be honest, I think these two have bigger issues, him in particular. She stated more than once that he negatively talks about her body.
When you make comments towards me, like making me feel like I'm like, my body's not your dream body. Telling your girlfriend to start going to the gym and keep putting on so much weight, and that she's too skinny one day and then the next her arms are too bulky. Like, it's exhausting.
Now, if I'm being honest, I do think that that situation started off somewhere in the middle of how they both explain it. Meaning he explains it this way.
She'll be like, I want to grow my butt. So I'm like, do heavy squats and your butt will grow. And then she's like, you're saying I have a small butt.
And she explains it as him body shaming her. I think the truth, like it tends to do, lies somewhere in the middle. She probably did say, man, I wish my ass looked a little bit plumper or a little bit more defined or whatever. And he said, oh, you can get that in the gym, babe. All you have to do is this, this, and this. And maybe it started off that way. But then I also get the feeling that Summit is the type of person who, let me see if I can explain it. I get the feeling that he's the type of person where it's like, if you say you're going to do something, then you need to do it, because he's not like a give up type of person, or like a don't say you're going to do it and don't do it type of person. And so I feel like what happened was she said that, he gave his suggestions on what she should do, and then she didn't do it, but she kept saying, man, I wish I could do this. He started pushing her. I think that that's one of the situations. And then, like she said, you never forget how that statement makes you feel. Even if his intentions weren't bad up front, it made her feel bad. And so that's really what matters. And something that's interesting about her is that she really is holding on to this fact that she's not insecure.
He sits around with a bunch of girls that are gonna tell him that his girlfriend's insecure, because I'm fucking not.
But how could you not be insecure when your man is telling you that you're not his type? He's telling you like, well, you're too skinny this day, you're too big this day. That would make any woman insecure. You are insecure. It's okay. You can work through it. But pretending like you're not and that it doesn't bother you, come on. Everyone has insecurities. It's okay. All of that said, this man has been leading the debauchery since day one. And I don't see him stopping. And if I'm Kaylee, I would be taking everything that I saw at that first bonfire and using it to fuel my own debauchery.
We understand what's at stake, but we also know it's needed. Like, this is needed.
Again, I can't stress this enough. If your relationship needs a reality TV show, you might want to rethink the relationship. The main issue with these two is that they've been together since college, and in college, Mikey was for the campus. Instead of for the streets, he was for the campus. And like I said, I don't see that as a problem. I think that when you're in college, you should be having all the fun you can. I'm going to stand 10 toes down on that. I think settling down in a relationship is crazy when you're 18 or college age in general, because you're going to have so much fun in college that you're just not going to have as much fun if you're with somebody. I'm sorry. Like, I hate to be that person, but you're just not going to have as much fun if you're with somebody at the end of the day. And now that they're ready to be more solid because they're a little bit older, Sid is still, rightfully so, I'll add, is still thinking about college. Which is fair because it happened to her. And beyond that, she feels like option number 2 in her relationship.
I literally gave him an ultimatum. I was like, it's either me or her.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose her.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you chose her then, you're mad now that she cheated on you.
Mm-hmm.
And Now you want to come to me because she did you grimy.
If that's how your relationship is starting, you already starting off rough. Because overcoming that feeling is nearly impossible. Now, Mikey is charismatic, and I honestly could see this being his downfall. Because he makes women feel really comfortable around him. Like he is the bro, like everybody keeps saying. And I see how that can lead to, oops, we kissed. And I mean outside of this show. She's talking about he's been like this outside. I see how that could have happened a lot in college.
That goofy shit, I'm never gonna see you in a romantic way. I'm gonna see you as a homie.
Yeah.
So if you want to be the homie, then keep it fun. If you wanted to possibly be something else, lock in and be serious.
I will say, I don't think that Mikey is just like that with girls. He is charismatic in nature with everyone, even the guys. When the men first came in and they were handing out bracelets and Xavier gave Sydney a bracelet, he was a really good sport about it, at least on the surface.
I got all the endurance you need.
Hell yeah.
And I don't think he's going to be able to change that about himself. And I don't think he should be told to change that. That's his personality. I can tell that he's very extroverted. Because if I was thrown in a house with a bunch of randos, I'd be sitting in the corner because my social anxiety would be stressing me out minute one. I also have to give Mikey his credit. I mean, he could be doing it intentionally. Maybe he knows the switch to flip to make it go from I'm just being friendly to now I'm trying to flirt with you. But all of the women are saying that he's coming off as a bro. So maybe that's part of his strategy, is just to be the bro. He's saying he's going to shoot a shot at India, but I think his reactions to seeing everything that Sid did, he looked hurt, genuinely. Like, those tears didn't look fake to me. So I don't know that he actually wants to shoot his shot with India. Like I said, maybe he has his charisma perfectly turned up to friends. And maybe he gonna turn it up a notch to flirt. Or maybe not. Maybe he's gonna keep it right in the friend zone. I mean, India is absolutely stunning. Gorgeous, gorgeous woman. In fact, all three of the three amigos are gorgeous women.
Who are the amigos? Jasenia,
The big three.
Christelle, and India?
Yeah.
And to me, these bonfires are such a good representation of what we always talk about when we're talking about editing in reality TV. Because Sydney was so upset watching him say that he was going to shoot his shot at India, which was a random one-off comment, that she started running into the trees with production. They sitting there like, bitch, how we end up on camera? They got water bottles in the shot. She got their legs all in the camera. The whole time this man has been putting himself and has been put in the friend zone. She seemed more upset than Shyanne did. And Cheyenne's man was over here talking about how another woman tastes. I understand that part about him saying that he might fall for one of them. I get it. But I really do feel like that also was kind of taken out of context, because she said he might fall in love. That's not what he said. He didn't say I might fall in love with one of you. He said I might fall. That could be purely lust. Ain't nobody say in love. But what I'm saying about the editing is that she doesn't know the context because it's purposely taken out of context, because that's the point of it. Even Mark says it like, hey, this is just a clip. You don't really know what's happening. Like, he's straight up telling you, like, we're editing this in this way. So I think you kind of got to go in there with that mindset. Nevertheless, she uses that to propel her relationship with Xavier, which is what I think she wanted to do anyway. Because Sid and Xavier have been hitting it off. And can I just say, Xavier is a really pretty man. I know we typically don't use the word pretty when we're describing men, but I think it's just a certain type, and he's the type. He has really nice eyes. They have really nice shape. He has really great skin tone and texture. He has a nice smile. If Aaron Pierre is Mufasa, Xavier is Scar in the best way possible. And I actually really like him for her. He plays the electric guitar, and Mikey feels a way about it.
Her biting her lip while he playing the guitar. It's cool. I get it.
I mean, to be fair, she did bite her lip. Xavier actually seems really well-rounded. Xavier, please don't make me have to go back on my word on that. Don't do nothing dumb on this show. And it really is the little things, because how cute is this?
This is the card that Xavier gave me. I opened it and it says, "You're the prize, Sydney."
Also, I was trying to figure out who Mikey reminded me of, and then it clicked. Orlando Brown. Not only in his looks, I think he favors him, but I think his personality. Y'all know Orlando he be Orlandoing. Lastly, we have Scarlett and Cole. Unique to this relationship, it was actually Scarlett's idea to come on the show. So y'all let me know what you think their relationship was like at first. Because from my point of view, it sounded like Cole wanted it to be more, and she was kind of, playing the field, but still wanted to keep him around for whatever reason. And not only wanted to keep him around, but wanted to dictate who he can sleep with.
I was trying to go full on in. She never wanted to commit to me, but she wanted me around, it felt like. She would start asking me questions if I was seeing other people, if I hooked up with someone last night. I lied about those instances.
And she still seems upset about it, but to me it's like, y'all weren't even together for real. And not because of him, but because of you. At the same time, Cole is saying he hopes when they leave here, they can go back to San Diego and get married or something like that.
Go back to San Diego, and then the plans after that would be to get engaged or something like that.
I don't know what something like that means. Either you're ready to propose to her or you're not. There's no something like that. You know, it's pretty black and white on if you're gonna get married or not, and if you are ready to propose or not. Other than that, these two didn't really have too much because it seems like neither of them really wants to be there. He's saying he can't look at another woman. She's saying,
I just did not expect to see literally nothing if he's not opening up.
If I'm being honest, I think she wanted to see him doing something so she could have permission to do it. And now that he really wasn't doing it, she's trying to say, well, he's just not digging deep enough. Is that the real reason, girl? You just mad because you can't do nothing now because he ain't do nothing. I do want to briefly talk about the dynamics in the two villas. And I can already hear some of y'all getting ready to say I'm male-centered for saying this. But I'm going to be honest. The relationship girlies are boring. When they were watching Summit and I forget which girl it was do the slip and slide and he was kind of spinning her around, Kaylee says that crossed every physical boundary that they had discussed. And I'm sitting here like, there's no way that that's every physical boundary that you guys discussed. There's no way that he crossed that line by spinning her around on a slip and slide. That's barely physical at all. She also could have been referring to when the girl kind of jumped on top of Summit, but that wasn't Summit's doing. What did she want him to do? Push the girl off? I mean, maybe she did. Y'all know that I tend to have low tolerance for people who come on these shows and then pretend like they don't know what show they came on. Like when people come on Love is Blind and they're surprised they're in a love triangle. You know that the whole entire point of this show is for everybody to date everybody. So love triangles are going to happen. With this show, you know that he's going to be put in front of all these single girls. Whether y'all discuss physical boundaries or not, you can't be surprised to see him having fun with somebody else. Like, I just don't understand how you're surprised by that. I get it. It's an intimate moment. That's your man, and so it doesn't sit right with you. They're having fun, and you probably feel more threatened by that than them actually touching each other. It's the intimate fun that they're having. I get it, but you signed up to come on this show, and you just gonna have to take that. The slip and slide looked like a vibe to me. The relationship guy's house, the male villa, is that considered the male villa? Yeah, the guy villa. It's just having more fun. Like, they're treating this show the way that it should be treated. This is essentially a souped up, glorified vacation that you're on, just separately from your significant other. And so treating it like a vacation seems like the way to go to me. And I think that the girlies were just upset because they're having less fun. They're like, well, we're not playing games like that. We're not doing all of that. And it's like, but you could be, though. You could be outside in the rain doing the slip and slide. You could be playing games. You could be having fun. You're just choosing not to, and now you're feeling away because you see that they're not having fun, that they're taking full advantage of the moment, the vacation, whatever. Granted, I might feel different if I was a relationship girly going into this show. Then again, I wouldn't be in a relationship and going onto this show. So I just don't see how you can complain when you literally signed up to be there. And to be honest, if you do leave Temptation Island in the same relationship that you came with, I feel like you would never let that man live that down. Every single argument, it would be like, well, I wasn't on Temptation Island doing this. And it's like, but babe, you could have been. You should have been having fun. That's what we were there for. And then they did all that hooting and hollering just for the guys to hold a talent show. And now all of a sudden they having the best night of their lives.
This was probably the best night in the villa, honestly. Everyone was so happy and just like alive.
And it's like, yeah, because you're having fun now. You were less concerned about the physical part of it, and you're more concerned about the fact that they were having fun with these group of girls who you don't care for. I do want to talk about a few of these intros from the Tempters. That's what I'm calling them, the Tempters. This girl, Maya, I think her intro was very bizarre.
My name's Maya. I have blonde hair, blue eyes.
And I think this is something unique that white people do. Like, I've never really seen another race of people introduce themselves with their hair color and their eye color. I can't think, have you ever heard a black person say, I'm brown hair, brown eyes, or like I'm brown hair, green eyes? Have you ever heard an Asian person say anything like that? Like, you don't really hear people lead with their hair and eye color. And I feel like there's a deeper societal reason behind why white people do that, and it's because they think that makes them like superior. Maybe not consciously, it might be subconscious, but I think that they do that because, you know, it's like some type of weird residual thought process from Anglo-Saxons or something. Like, I don't know, it's weird to lead with that. It's weird to be like, I'm blonde hair, blue eyes. It's especially weird to lead with that when we can see your roots, and your roots are brunette. Babe, you're brunette with blue eyes. It's okay. So I just thought that intro was a little weird. I don't know. I did love Jasenia's intro.
Good things come in small packages, but don't worry because this ain't one of them.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little ass. And I think she's exactly who she thinks she is. Lulu is the Playboy Bunny, gorgeous girl, but she looks like my little cousin, so I'm gonna need her to keep it cute on this show. Exceptionally cute. And then Kai from Hawaii, very obnoxious, kind of funny, but mostly obnoxious, if I'm being honest.
I live 20 minutes that way. Your girlfriend's hopping on the plane with me, duh. Back on my island, duh. On the surfboard, duh. In the crib, duh. In the Toyota Tacoma, duh. Watching sunsets, duh. Getting piped under the stars, duh.
Whoever created this show was fully ready to ruin these relationships. I have no doubt in my mind. This show is very unique compared to a lot of other dating shows that I've watched. Usually when I see people go on dates on dating shows, they typically go like to a different part of the villa, or like production puts them there or puts them there. They got these people in cars. They're driving around Hawaii and going on real dates. Like, they're really trying to set this up to be as, you know, connection rich as possible. That's a setup. You are actively putting in the effort to destroy these relationships. I think these couples are in for a rude awakening, in particular the girls. But y'all let me know your thoughts below. I'll be back here tomorrow with my thoughts on episodes 4 through 6. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye. I just started working out again, and I've been twice. I went yesterday and I went today. And I was a pretty hardcore gym goer. Being honest, I got depressed and I stopped going. That's what happened. I put on this pair of shorts that always fit me perfectly, and I could not get them bitches over the gut, is basically what I'm saying. And I was like, oh, it's time. So I went yesterday, and because I am a gym goer and I'm not starting from scratch, like I know all the exercises, I know how heavy I can lift, all that, I went in, okay? Yesterday I was like, I'm back, I'm full force. Never ever do that. I deadlifted. I think when I stopped going to the gym, I was deadlifting 40 pounds. I deadlifted 30 yesterday, and I did legs, abduction machine. I did lunges with the weights. When I tell you my legs feel like fucking spaghetti, bitch, like I'm not walking on sunshine. I can tell you that. I feel like I'm walking a tightrope and I'm about to fall off any second. My legs are so weak, because the muscles are sore. And I'm gonna spare y'all the details, but it's hard to sit down, it's hard to get up, okay? The only thing I feel good doing is like being like stationary. So anyway, I went to the gym again today. I did arms. Or I did like upper body. I did chest press. I did tricep kickbacks. I did the bar hang. I did all that stuff today to take take some weight off of my legs, because my legs are in fucking shambles. You weren't allowed, existed, or whoever, or who will ever, nevertheless,